make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan.
Being probably very much under-leveled. So what are we going to do in this? We are going to run a single player and we are going to go for honor mode. For those of you who are not aware of the game and how it is working, I will use the time also in the playthrough to always give a little bit of a guidance and explain everything. Honor mode is basically the hardest mode in the game. It is tactician mode. So this mode here, with the exception that you only have one save game. So if you would die with your party completely, the game is basically over. Tactician mode, you can look it up online, basically adds 50% hit points and 50% damage to all monsters, and the monsters have a lot more abilities that they can use. So it is going to be quite a challenge. The game is warning us, failure is not an option. If we are messing it up, our party is permanently dead. We are aware about that and we are accepting the consequences. So let's shortly talk about the party and what I'm going to play. In order to make it a challenge, I did not opt for any quote-unquote optimized party build. I did not want to run a typical standard build, which you would run in order to beat the game on an easy mode. Two typical ways of beating the game quite simply is talent which is called Lonewolf. What it basically does is it reduces the party members from 4 to 2, but unfortunately, based on the way that Divinity Original Sin 2 is designed, the two remaining characters actually scale extremely good and will scale to a point where they will mostly one-shot every enemy in the game. We don't want to do that, so we are going to run with a party of 4. And moreover, instead of running a party of 4, where we would go singularly focused on one type, for instance, a purely physical party with a single supporter, which would make the game again very easy. We are going to run a mixed group, just to A, preserve a little bit the flexibility, and B, also make it more interesting. Now, towards the characters, what are we going to play? We are going to have 4 characters, so I'm going to give a little bit of an overview about what we are going to play with each character. The first character is going to be a customized character. We're going to choose Elf as our customization, simply because of the ability of Flesh Sacrifice. For those of you who haven't played the game, it basically allows you to take additional turns, or more to use more action points in a turn, so to get additional skills off. That is extremely valuable because we are going to use that on our damage dealers. The main character is going to be a melee character. I am going to plan to make him a two-handed melee DPS character, focusing mainly on strength and critical strikes. So he will dish out a lot of damage, plus also be crowd controlling. I will go into the whole crowd controlling and how it works whilst we are in the game. The second character will be, since besides the custom characters, you are allowed to basically take 3 out of 6 characters from the Origin's background, and we are going to take the Origin character Sibyl, simply because she's the only elf, and I already mentioned that Flesh Sacrifice is quite a good skill. So we are going to use Sibyl as an archer. She's going to be our second physical damage dealer. Basically focusing on ranged damage, and we will look into how we are going to do that a little bit more when we build the characters. Character number 3 is going to be a mage character, magical DPS and support. I've chosen to take Los for that, mainly because she is a human and has a quite interesting special ability. Every character has a racial ability. I am favoring the human racial ability as the second best racial ability. The Encourage is a very, very strong buff that the whole party can get. But Rose's special ability is Maddening Song. And Maddening Song allows to take over an area, an enemy, and will force him to fight on our behalf. Since we are fighting a lot of enemies, I figured Charm will be a nice little add-on. Last but not least, we are going to go with Beast. Beast is going to be a summoner. And the way it works, summoners can very early in the game get very potent summonings, which we are going to use in order to survive the early game and make sure that we are healthy. The trick with Beast is going to be that summoning itself is a skill which does not require you to take any specific attribute. Every character has 3 physical and 3 mental attributes, and usually all of the different skills that you can take will kind of harmonize with one of these abilities. Casting skills very, very often are harmonizing with intelligence and will scale of intelligence. Summoning itself is an exception to that rule. It is not scaling with intelligence, and hence we can use whatever attribute we want. So this character is going to summon really, really powerful beings whilst also focusing purely on defense. So we are going to play a summoner tank, which is probably going to be fun. I like the idea. As you can see, many of the characters are based on the idea of either having a strong crowd control or offering the option to get additional summonings onto the battlefield. That is simply because I will assume that we're going to be pretty overwhelmed by the sheer force of enemies that we're going to see. With that, I hope you are going to enjoy the run of Divinity Original Sins 2. I would call it Honor Mode Plus as a reference to, a little bit more challenge than the normal Honor Mode. Double the enemies, 75% less XP. Here we go.